The Portland Police Bureau is hiring. We need people to join us as community police officers in the city of Portland. We have a highly competitive starting wage and great benefits. Come join the best. Visit joinportlandpolice.com for more information.
Good morning, and thank you for being here. I am Lieutenant Tina Jones, a Public Information Officer with the Portland Police Bureau. We are here today to provide an update on our wellness program. It is January, the month of wellness, where many commit to better health at the first of the year, and then a good number of them have already fallen off the wellness train by now. We are here to share some information about our long-term commitment and continuing efforts to embed wellness into our Bureau. Today we have the honor of having several speakers, including Mayor Wheeler, an early supporter of our wellness program, Chief Jamie Resch, a staunch advocate of the program for all of our members, Acting Commander Erica Hurley, who brought the program to life during her tenure at the Training Division, and Officer Leo Harris, our Wellness Program Officer. While he will not be talking, I think he will likely steal the show today, and we are also presenting for the first time Jocko, our Portland Police Bureau Comfort Canine. Without further ado, I have the privilege of introducing Mayor Ted Wheeler.
Thank you. Well, good morning, and thank you everyone for being here today. We're here because we want to talk about something that's very real and something we don't often hear about or talk about in public. When most people think about police work, they think about examples like chases or arresting suspects, shooting, drug busts, guns taken off the street. But we don't often hear about the emotional toll or the impact this repeated exposure to trauma can have to our first responders. So today I want to talk about wellness. I want to talk about the wellness of the men and women in our police bureau. To members of the Portland Police Bureau who are subjected to this repeated trauma, I want to say this very clearly. We know how difficult your job is. We're committed to doing everything we can to ensure that you're supported and that you're taken care of. Here's some staggering statistics. In 2019, there were 135 police officers killed in the line of duty in this country. These deaths are all tragic. We all know that police work is dangerous, and to mitigate these risks, PPB trains and equips officers to do this dangerous job as safely as possible. That's taken as a given. What's also tragic is the rate of suicide amongst police officers. Last year, more than 200 police officers commit suicide across the United States, and it's believed that police officer suicides are significantly underreported. Police service has very real physical risks, but there are very real emotional risks as well. Our Bureau members experience trauma and vicarious trauma serving our community. And because our people are hurting, I want them to get the help and the support that they need. I see firsthand the trauma our officers go through on a daily basis. I hear stories about police work that is often wrenching, tragic, and can be traumatic. As police commissioner, this weighs on me heavily. So that's why I fought hard to add and fund the wellness officer position to the Police Bureau to help our police officers and our professional staff members to increase their mental and physical well-being and answer the call to uphold public safety every minute of every day. I'm proud of the progress made by the Bureau on this, and I know Chief Resch is committed to supporting PPB members to address the stress and the trauma of their jobs. I believe PPB's wellness program will lead to healthier officers and professional staff and to help get them the support that they need. I'm confident of it. We respect, appreciate, and admire what PPB officers do every day. The wellness program is a priority to me as mayor. I commit my support to this important program. It's my priority to show our collective care, concern, and support for all of the Portland Police Bureau's members, and I thank you for that.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Chief Jamie Rush.
It's okay. Good morning. Thank you all for being here again. Our officers and professional staff serve the community in a variety of capacities, and they care deeply about our mission. This work can have a toll, especially over the span of a career. They often balance work life as best they can, but it is important to have skills needed to refresh and remain focused. The Wellness Program is a critical component of our commitment to the 21st century policing and to providing our employees with the support they need to succeed. The Police Bureau has expanded on the wellness concept to include our professional staff, in addition to our sworn members. We acknowledge that the behind-the-scenes work of the policing profession can have significant impacts on our professional staff, whose wellness is just as equally important. I want to thank the community members who helped us from the Training Advisory Council, as well as the Portland Committee on Community Engaged Policing, and those who participated in our strategic planning sessions. We have heard from all of you that wellness is a priority you believe the Bureau should be focusing on and investing in. PSEP and TAC have recognized and recommended that an important way to improve community and policing interactions is having PPB members who are physically and emotionally whole. They have made 5 recommendations that we are planning on pursuing, including researching scheduling practices that impact members' sleep, as well as urging City Council to consider wellness factors as they determine appropriate staffing levels for PPB. Integrating fitness training into PPB members' schedules consistent with other fire and policing departments nationwide. Incorporating training aimed at reducing stress and promoting resiliency in our members. Resilience is critical, as the bulk of their job is spent observing, interacting with, and enduring physically and emotionally traumatic situations. Engaging a wide range of communities regarding varying wellness practices. And finally, establishing a baseline metrics, both quantitative and qualitative, to effectively evaluate the wellness program. We are in the pilot phases of several wellness initiatives, including incorporating physical activity, mindfulness, and increased training and resources related to physical, emotional, and financial wellness. Our goal is to interweave these practices into the daily work life so they become good habits our members can use at work and at home. We are being very intentional about how we incorporate the program and the elements, and we will be assessing what works and what does not. This information will allow us to improve the resources and the training available to all of our members. As you are aware, the Portland Police Bureau is in a critical time where we need to hire and retain officers in a very tough labor market. One way to remain competitive is to invest in the well-being of all of our employees who are out there making critical decisions each and every day, and we need them to be holistically well to operate to the best of their abilities. I have personally already heard from many members who have expressed their gratefulness not only in the Bureau but from the city, taking steps to focus on employee wellness. They are already taking what they have learned and not only incorporating it into their daily work, but carrying it forward into their personal lives. And lastly, I am so very grateful that the community concurs that the well-being of our employees is of critical importance. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Acting Commander Erica Hurley. If she can get over the speed bump here, and Jocko, he has settled down. So we're going to do this very carefully so we don't disturb him.
Did you take these? Because I did not turn them off. They just went off, so you might want to turn them on. Thanks. Good morning. To be of service, we must be fit for service. I've been a Portland police officer for 25 years, and during those years, myself and I have watched my coworkers answer the calls that are of critical incidents and high emotional calls. The wellness program has been created to make sure that our members can start their career and end their career in retirement healthy. We hire amazing individuals to be members of the Portland Police Bureau who enter our profession healthy and excited to serve their community. And this program will help ensure that they remain healthy and fit to serve the community throughout their career and beyond into their retirement. We do a very good job of training at the Portland Police Bureau. We train our members in firearms, control tactics, procedural justice, and we now recognize the need to train our members to take care of themselves, both physically and mentally. We're being very thoughtful in our pilot programs, establishing baseline metrics, both quantitative and qualitative, to evaluate the effectiveness of the wellness program and to ensure accountability as we progress. one of the things that we incorporated into our wellness program is the adoption of Jocko. He is our comfort canine for our internal employees. Our training program includes the training of Jocko, who is still a puppy at just 1 year old and has a lot of learning yet to do. Personally, he likes to chase balls, long walks on the beach, and cuddling with the members of the Portland Police Bureau. He ultimately will be a certified therapy dog. However, this takes more than 3 years of training, so he has a lot of work ahead of him. Some of his job duties include responding to officer-involved shooting and critical incident debriefs, visiting the Records Division, the Property Evidence Division, and Personnel Division, and recently the Chief's Office. As we have brought Jocko to these different events, I've watched the professional staff as well as seasoned officers sit on the floor and play with him, cuddle, rub his belly. And this allows them to disconnect from those traumatic calls and the workload of the day and just enjoy some comfort. The Portland Police Bureau is one of the leaders at the forefront of the wellness effort for the state of Oregon. I am the chair of the State Wellness Task Force, and we recently completed a draft policy for the legislation that will help guide all of the departments in the state with their wellness training programs. The Portland Police Bureau is one of the few agencies that is looking at this holistically. We recently filled the Employee Assistance Program Officer position and assigned it to the Training Division, where he can work hand in hand with our wellness officer. We want to make sure that we offer training to help our members be resilient on the front end and employee assistance program to help our members who are experiencing crisis. An example of how we've embedded wellness in the Bureau is in our 2020 in-service. Of the 4 days, each one has 1 hour of wellness embedded in the training. These classes are cardiac health, nutrition, stress and resiliency, and mindfulness meditation training. This is a very important skill for mental resiliency as we move forward. I have 2 children who have talked about being police officers for a very long time, and I will tell you that before this program, I encouraged them to seek other careers. And with the addition of the program and the change in the culture that prioritizes holistic wellness and the wellness of them from the beginning to the end, I feel confident in allowing them to be the 3rd generation of police officer in my family. Thank you. Oop, stepping over.
Thank you. Next, we have Officer Leo Harris, our wellness officer. It's a little maneuvering that they do. A little awkward.
Good morning. My name is Leo Harris. I've been a police officer here in the city of Portland for 18 years. I'm on the Special Emergency Reaction Team, and I'm also a lead patrol tactics instructor in our training division since 2012. In 2019, I was selected to be the first wellness program coordinator. Before we talk about wellness in the Police Bureau, we want to recognize that many community members, including some of you in this room, may have significant family and job stresses. We know that focusing on individual wellness is important for everyone. The duties of our police officers frequently place them in situations that endanger their personal health, safety, and occasionally their lives. Even when not at personal risk, members regularly witness and investigate tragic events. These stressful and traumatic experiences can accumulate over the course of a career and can take a toll on their well-being, negatively impacting their physical and their mental health. I know from my personal experience that it is not always the high-risk events that impact officers. One such incident I've spoken about before was a traffic crash where a community member accidentally crashed into a spouse who was walking their dog. This person's injuries were very serious, and they went to the hospital in an ambulance. I then drove the spouse to the hospital, and during the ride, I was faced with questions and comments from the spouse that I was unprepared for. I remember the spouse saying things like, "Well, I guess we're not going hiking tomorrow." And they went on to tell me that they were considering having children soon. I was driving along thinking that that person may never walk again and that having children may not be an option. I really felt the stress of watching the spouse slowly process this traumatic event and the different ways that it would impact their life. I desperately wanted to tell them that everything was going to be okay and that all their dreams would still come true, and yet I knew that was not the right way to be supportive. Our police officers are in situations like this often as they respond to crisis situations to help other folks. They do this regularly. They do not regularly get closure on interactions like this, as I did not on this crash. We're often forced to compartmentalize these interactions as we most frequently rush to the next interaction where someone needs help, and we usually never have the opportunity to connect with these people again. There are other stressors as well, such as overtime from being overstaffed and many members frequently, I wish we had that problem.
I know. But we got to correct that.
Can we work on that? There are other stressors as well, such as overtime from being understaffed, as many members frequently have work responsibilities like court, meetings, and training that are not an option during their regular schedule. This requires members to work on their weekends and after hours. In order to accomplish these work responsibilities, members frequently sacrifice sleep, which can impact decision making, including food and fitness choices, which can obviously impact their physical and their mental health. Nationally, law enforcement culture has been slow to recognize the danger of repeated and pervasive trauma and stress on its members. Seeking help and support has in the past been looked at as a sign of weakness or lack of suitability to do the job. One national example is the rising number of suicides, which the mayor and other folks have referenced earlier. BlueHelp.org is a nonprofit that keeps this data and has a mission of reducing the mental health stigma, advocating for officers who are suffering from post-traumatic stress, and raising awareness for suicide and mental health issues. Their stats unfortunately show that police officers dying by suicide has risen each year from 143 in 2016 to 228 in 2019. That is almost a 60% increase. There is also often cited research that points to police officers being much more at risk for cardiovascular disease. The life expectancy of a police officer is 20 years less than their civilian counterpart. Also, the average age of a law enforcement officer who has suffered a heart attack is 49 years old, compared with 67 years of age for the general population. While these numbers may sound disheartening, we believe that the PPB Wellness Program will help members increase their individual wellness, which will lead to better customer service, reduced complaints, reduced member injuries, and increase overall morale, which will help with retention rates and new member recruitment. I want to personally thank Mayor Wheeler and Chief Resch and Commander Hurley and the Portland Committee on Engaged Policing and the Training Advisory Council for their commitment to the members of the Portland Police Bureau and to the community that we serve. This investment in each member's wellness will change the culture of the Portland Police Bureau forever and help strengthen our relationship with the community. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for coming. We hope to put out more information in the future as our program develops. I want to take just a moment to remind anyone in our community who may need support that help is available around the clock at Lines for Life at 1-800-273-8255 or the Multnomah County Mental Health Call Center at 503-988-4888. We thank the public for supporting the overall health and well-being and the media for helping us to get the message out. Have a great day.
Commander Hurley.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we can take questions.
Man. Oh, we're not doing questions. Yay!
This is
got
my
excited
first time.
after just a minute. Okay.
So
You had said while she was getting notes, like how you've seen heart rates go down. If you can just kind of expand on that, like how this has helped those that have touched a dog like this.
They did a study where they had therapy dogs with people that were writing about critical instances, so traumatic incidents, people that have been victims of crimes and things like that, of trauma, and they're writing it. And one group had therapy dogs, and the other group had to write it without. They found that the detail was just as good on either, but the stress level of the people that had the dogs, their heart rate didn't go up, their blood pressure didn't go up, their traumatic incident after having written about what happened was less. So incidentally, just in the sense of watching the police bureau, in fact, a lot of you, when you came early to do some of the filming on the front end, you noticed that people rushed in the door and we had to say, wait, I'll bring him to your office later, I'll bring him in, right? Because people love to just come and cuddle with him and get on the floor with him and really just disconnect from the stress that is their everyday work and life. One of the reasons that I decided to do a wellness dog or comfort dog throughout the agencies nationwide, this has become new wellness program that a lot of people are doing. But one of the things that came out of it is some of the studies that have been done. So they've done some studies about how people react during and after critical incidences with animals. And the heart rate and the blood pressure rate actually reduce significantly when they just get down and cuddle with a dog for a little while, pet an animal, have that interaction time. And so it was one of the reasons that I really wanted to move forward with the Comfort Canine.
Can you say where you got Jocko, and are you training him? Or?
Yeah, so Jocko was donated to the Bureau, and he was donated with an understanding that if the program didn't work out or if he failed training, he would go back to the person that adopted him, or excuse me, that donated him. But he's doing actually pretty well so far, as you guys saw earlier. And we have 2 handlers in the Bureau, so he's very much like a canine, right, with a handler, people that have done the training with him, that have been with him since he was 8 weeks old. And so there's another handler at the training division that take him to different events and are able to take him within the Bureau as asked.
How do you break down that wall? You said, it could be looked at as a sign of weakness. How do you break down that wall and say, hey, it's okay?
Well, that's one of the cool things about the dog. Everybody, well, not everybody, most people like dogs. They like animals, right? And so one of the reasons that we brought him in is sometimes people need help with EAP or they need help for mental health issues and crisis that's happening in their lives. They'll come and pet the dog really to just have the conversation, right? So sometimes he hangs out at the EAP office and they'll go out and they'll pet the dog, and that's an excuse. It's not I came out to talk to the Employee Assistance Program. I came out to see the dog. Oh, and by the way, while I'm here, can we talk about what other things maybe can be helped? So he actually helps break down that barrier because it's a reason for people to come talk. So I'm also a peer support member in the Bureau, and so if people come to me, and the other handler is also a peer support member, so if they come to us just to pet the dog, we still have the ability to help with resources and things that they need, or just to chat if that's what they need. So he actually breaks down that wall all by himself with his big eyebrows.
And will the dog also be used with victims of crimes, or?
No, this is internal only. We actually have a program through BHU that they're working for victims of crime. There's lots of other programs that are out there. They have them that come to the courthouse, that they come to the Child Abuse Center, those kinds of things. So he is specifically for internal. And with, what, 700 and, well, 1,000 members with non-sworn as well, he's got a big job already.
Any final questions?
Based on your experience so far, where is his favorite place for scratches?
His favorite place, he actually loves his chest and behind his ear scratch, but belly rubs are it, right? I mean, he loves that. Yeah. And I think you saw that earlier as well.
You said this is a pilot program, Mayor. Is this, and I apologize if I misunderstood something you said, like how long this is going into effect for, and then where the money came from, just kind of a few of the details.
So the funds have already been budgeted. So we already have the funds. They were allocated in the last budget process. I see this as a pilot to make sure that we have all the pieces in place, and then my expectation is we will have an ongoing wellness program. This is not a one and done. It's a permanent need.
And I think maybe where the confusion could be cleared up is we're piloting different aspects of the program, and that's where the analysis comes in to see what's effective or not. So whether it's yoga, mindfulness, physical activity, all these other things, we're trying to be very smart about incorporating different components to measure so that down the road we have that to be able to be very intentional and smart with our resources. So, well, thank you for coming today. I'm sure we can maybe hang out with Jocko for a few minutes if you need some last minutes. No. Awesome. All right. Take care. Thank you.